Hey guys, Lethal Leslie here, and today we're going to be doing an idiot review of Rage 2. So we're going to find out in this video whether Rage is any good and whether it's going to get a Rage review off me. That was a bad joke. So to explain a little bit why I call these idiot reviews, guys, is because one, I'm an idiot, of course, and two, I don't really review games the same as other people. We all have our different ways of reviewing games, but personally, I'm not too fussed about the odd frame rate drop, the odd glitch, you know, maybe the colouring of the map at times, you know, little things like this. I do like a beautiful map, I do like, you know, high frame rates if we can get them kind of thing, but it's not game defining for me, so I don't make it game defining in my reviews. I'm not going to cut a game down if it does have the odd glitch. That's basically why I call it an idiot review, because I'm an idiot just at home playing games just like anyone else and giving my opinion on them. So anyway, let's get started, and on my list here today I've got the driving, the gunplay, the story plus the feel. I've got the open world, the menus, and then the overall score. So that's the way we're going to be going through it today, and we're going to be starting off with the driving. Now, this is actually starting off on a negative, in my opinion. The driving is not great in this game, and I think saying it's not great is actually a bit of a compliment. For an open world game, the driving is probably one of the most important things, having played a lot of open world games myself, and I'm not saying you had to put massive effort to make it an over-the-top great driving experience, but let's be honest, Rage has racing in it, so I feel like they could have spent a lot more time on the driving mechanics. The cars and the bikes, they don't feel like they have any weight to them. I haven't actually flown around yet. I'm about 8 hours in, I should probably mention. 8-9 hours into the game, something like that, just so you know. I haven't fully completed it, but I have done a lot of it, and I have been grinding it quite hard. So the cars, they don't feel like they have any weight for me. The turning mechanics ain't great, the boost mechanic ain't great, the shooting mechanic is okay whilst driving, and to be honest, it's a below par experience when it comes to this game, in my opinion, and that's one of the negative points for Rage. I feel like they could have done a lot better and spent a lot more time just, you know, polishing that up, and especially seeing as they have racing sections, it could have been a really nice experience driving around this open world, but unfortunately they haven't really put the work in to make it a great experience. So anyway, that's driving out of the way, let's cross that off. And we're going to be moving into the best thing about Rage 2, and that's going to be the gunplay plus powers, and these deserve to be done together because do they entwine well. You can use the powers so well to complement the guns on this game, and the guns just feel great. You don't really have a massive selection. It's the same as the first Rage in the way that there is a very limited selection of guns, but you know, they can do multiple things. You unlock powers and upgrade your guns, and that side of the game is without a doubt everything to do with the guns they've really thought about. Put it that way. The way you upgrade them is good, the way you use them with the powers is good, the way that some guns have multiple functions in the way that, like, it can blow enemies away, be like a puff of air with the shotgun, but it can also just be a damage machine, the shotgun as well. It's really strong. So the gunplay is just fantastic and fun, and that's what keeps me coming back, and that's what's going to keep you coming back to finish this game. If you're going to end up finishing Rage 2, it's going to be because of the mindless fun and destruction you can cause with the guns. You can just lose yourself in the battles, and there are relatively tough enemies. I like the way that the armor falls off the enemies and stuff like that as well. It does feel like your shots are hitting and you're really doing damage. Some enemies can actually take quite a lot of damage even on normal mode, so that is quite cool in the way that you do feel like it's somewhat of a challenge sometimes, and I think that's really important for an open world game, that it's not just too much a story and there is some competition for the people like myself. Anyway, I like a little bit of competition, especially on normal mode. I see that as the way a game should be played, so I don't think it should be that easy on normal mode. I think if you do want an easy experience, then of course there is the easy option. And to just touch on the powers a little bit more, there are like 10 powers on the game, which I really like, and they do give you good tutorials and teach you how to use these powers so that you can implement them into your combat with no problem whatsoever. And I think that's a really strong point in the game, is that there is a lot of information and it is a little bit overwhelming, but when it comes to the powers and things like that, it does teach you how to use them really well, and you can become kind of like a combat machine using different powers, getting your guns out, getting your shotguns out, then another power's charged up, then you have your overdrive and you're destroying people. And like I said, it doesn't feel too easy really. It feels too easy maybe when you're taking on an easy camp, but there are some enemies that you can hit with 3 or 4 shotgun blasts and then you pull their armor off. So it's definitely balanced quite nicely for the combat to feel very, very good. That is the gunplay out of the way. We are going to be moving on to the story plus the feel now. And again, this is a part of the game that does not really grip me. Now, there are some good points about the story, which I'll come to in a second. But this story does not really grip me to the point where I feel engrossed in the storyline. And that's fine, not all games are going to grip you like that, but I am someone when playing a single player mode that does like a strong story narrative, and I don't think this game really offers a strong story narrative, and I don't think it means to either. It has a very simple story where you have 3 different characters and you need to do missions for all 3 characters to unlock something that you can then go and face the big boss. And I really like that build in the way that you've got to level up 3 different people, so there are 3 different main storylines. That part of the game felt really fun, but as for being invested in the story, not so much. And I have feel here as well, because I always add this feel when I'm talking about the story, because this is the part where it's supposed to grip you. And, you know, I don't feel super invested. That's, like, not the way I feel when I play this game. I feel like, let's get to the next location so I can just start blasting people. I'm never, like, investing or listening to the dialogue. It feels like the dialogue lasts forever. And I guess that's because it's not as engaging as other games I've played recently. And that's the reason why I'm not listening to everything or waiting for the next sentence of the person who I'm doing the mission for. So I'm not going to touch on the story anymore. I want you guys to go out and enjoy the story if you are going to buy the game, so I don't want to say too much about it. Next, we're going to go to the open world now. And again, the open world is, I would say, a hit and miss situation. It definitely looks cool in some parts, it looks beautiful in others, but there isn't really much to do out. It's not a very responsive and reactive open world in my opinion. It is just there for you to drive from A to B. They've done a lot of work in making it look good, I would say, along the tracks and along the roads where you should be following to go from one mission to the next. But there isn't really anything out there to be found that isn't already marked on your map. So there's no point really going exploring in this open world. You might as well just go to your next objective, because basically everything up to now, maybe I'm missing something, let me know in the comment section down below, but I have not found anything in this world yet that isn't already marked on the map by either a question mark or actually an objective point. And the open world, the driving, the story and everything else I've mentioned so far just leads up to those gunfights. And I think that's the way the game's designed. It's designed just to get you into one gunfight after another. It feels like they've done a lot of work on that. And that's what they're driving. They're just saying, get there as fast as you can, get in another gunfight and enjoy that. And last on the list here now is the menus. And I usually wouldn't really put the menus in, but I did feel like the menus are such a big part of this game. There is so much to do on the menus that they did deserve a mention, for good and for bad. So the first thing, I'm going to get the bad thing out of the way first. It's only a little point. The menus are slow. You can't fly back and forth between the menus. It is a little bit slow, and that's just the way it is. It's not a big issue, but it's noticeable. So I thought I'd chuck it in as the negative for the menus. The menus in general are quite positive once you understand them. And that's the thing with this game. It's once you understand them. You have so many tabs across the top. There's so much to take in that stuff can be missed when playing this game right at the start, but you just want to mess around with them and get used to them. And I think the menus are actually one of the better things. There's so much stuff to unlock, and I think the game does well in giving you the choice on what you want to unlock first. It gives you multiple options to unlock certain things in different areas. There's a lot of unlockables in the game. You can upgrade your vehicles, your guns, your powers, as well as there being some sort of skill tree for like each set of missions. So there's a lot to unlock in the menus, and I think they should have worked a little bit harder to make it a little bit smoother, because it's a good menu system and it would have been even better if they made it smoother. And that's basically it for the review, guys. I'm going to sum up here now, give you my score, but before I do that, what I do want to say is, if you like the look of this game and you're watching my review or you're watching someone else's review, if you like the look of the game, you should go and get it. You shouldn't really listen to reviews if you're someone who's watched videos or gameplay on the game and you like the look of it, because you're much better off watching some gameplay, watching half an hour of gameplay in my opinion, than listening to a review. You can pick up a lot more from that, but I do, like, you know, I'm making the review and now I'm saying you shouldn't listen to it. But you know what, that is life. People do like to see reviews sometimes, but personally, if you like the look of the game, I think you should go and get it. I don't think you should let other people make your decision for you on YouTube, really, because you miss out on so many good games, and it depends what you care about in a game. For instance, some people, the menus may really annoy them, but for you, it may be something that's not going to bother you. You may really enjoy the driving. Personally, I don't. Unless you've got it in your hands and you try and get into that game, sitting there, giving it a few hours, you know, the thing is, once you get into a game, the problems don't stick out to you anymore. They're not even there anymore, the problems, once you get into a game. That's the beauty of gaming. You know, we can overlook the faults so easily if we're enjoying the game. So if you're liking the look of the game, go and get it. And anyway, let's get into my score. I'm really torn between giving this game a 7 or a 6.5. And just to be clear, a 6.5 on my channel is not a bad score in comparison to other games, like the big boys. The big boys give something a 6.5, it's considered bad. If I review a game that I absolutely hate and I think it's terrible, that game on my channel will be getting a 3 or a 4 or a 5 or something like that. So with that being said, I am gonna stick with a 6.5 for Rage. It's a good experience. It's good run and gun fun, but there's a lot missing there for it to be a complete game, and that's the reason it's getting a 6.5. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think about Rage and what rating you would have given it in the comment section down below. If you liked the video, subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks for watching as always, and take it easy.